Infant Developmental Milestones by Angie Radabaugh. Quote from Mayo Clinic, and it states, "A lot happens during your baby's first 3 months. Most babies reach certain milestones at similar ages, but infant development isn't an exact science. Expect your baby to grow and develop at his or her own pace. As you get to know your baby, consider these general infant developmental milestones. The following slides will show you various developmental milestones that children should reach. At birth, weighs 7.5 pounds, is 20 inches long, and gains 5 to 6 ounces per week during the first month. By the age of 4 to 6 months, an infant's weight should be double the birth weight. During the second half of the first year of life, growth is not as rapid. Between ages 1 and 2, a toddler will gain only about 5 pounds. Weight gain will remain at about 5 pounds per year between the ages of 2 and 5. Immediately after birth, an infant normally loses about 5 to 10% of his or her body weight. However, by the age of 2 weeks, an infant should start to gain weight and grow quickly. Newborn reflexes. What are reflexes? According to our book, they are built-in reactions to stimuli. There are the rooting reflex, the sucking reflex, Moro reflex, and grasping reflex. The definitions according to our book. Rooting reflex. A newborn built-in reaction that occurs when an infant's cheek is stroked or the side of his mouth is touched. In response, the infant turns its head toward the side that it was touched, an apparent effort to find something to suck. Here is an example of the rooting reflex. Moro reflex. A neonatal startle response that occurs in reaction to a sudden, intense noise or movement. When startled, the newborn arches its back, throws its head back, and flings out its arms and legs. Then, the newborn rapidly closes its arms and legs to the center of the body. This is an example of the Moro reflex. Sucking reflex. A newborn's built-in reaction of automatically sucking an object placed in its mouth. The sucking reflex enables the infant to get nourishment before it is associated a nipple with food. Here is an example of a physician sticking his finger into an infant's mouth. Grasping reflex. The grasping reflex is a neonatal reflex that occurs when something touches an infant's palms. The infant responds by tightly grasping. This is an example of the grasping reflex. Development. I have broken down development in correspondence to age, social emotional, language, communication skills, cognitive, and movement physical development. At 2 months of age, a child should be smiling, know self-calming strategies such as sucking on his hand, and make eye contact with individuals. Language and communication of a 2-month-old. They will be cooing and turning their head toward the sound. At 2 months of age, for cognitive, they should be able to pay attention to faces. Their eyes track objects at a distance. They recognize individuals and may become fussy and cry when bored when activities do not change. At 2 months of age, for movement and physical development, an infant should be able to hold its head up, push up on its tummy, and arms and legs flare more smoothly. For 4 months of age, for social emotional, they should be able to smile spontaneously, enjoys playing with people, and copies movement and facial expressions. At 4 months of age, for communication, infants should be able to babble, and they cry differently when they are hungry, in pain, or being tired. For 4 months cognitive, they respond to affection, they reach for toy with one hand, and use hands and eyes together. 4 months of age, movement and physical development. They hold head steady, unsupported, pushes down on legs and feet when they are on hard surfaces, may be able to roll over from tummy to back, hold on a toy and shake it and swing it and swing at dangling toys. They also can bring their hands to their mouth, and when lying on stomach, they push up to elbows, as illustrated in the picture. At 6 months of age, for social emotional, they know familiar faces and begins to know if someone is a stranger, likes to play with others, especially parents, responds to others people's emotions, and often seems happy. They like to look at themselves in the mirror. For 6 months of age in communication, they respond by making sounds, they respond to their own name, they express emotion by making sounds, and the 6-month-old should begin to say consonant sounds, jabbering with a and a b sound. For cognitive at 6 months, infants should look around, bring objects to their mouth, they are very curious, and they like to transfer objects from one hand to the other. Movement and physical development of a 6-month-old. They roll over, they sit without support, they stand, and they rock back and forth. At 9 months of age, for social emotional, they're afraid of strangers, they can become clingy to familiar adults such as their moms and dads, and they also have favorite certain toys. For language and communication skills at 9 months, infants understand the word no, they babble mama and baba and dada, they mimic sounds, and they often point to objects. For cognitive development, they follow objects with eyes, they play peekaboo, they place objects in their mouth, and they place objects between their fingers. Physical development and movement. They bear weight on legs with support, they sit without support, they pull to standing position, and they've begun to crawl. At 12 months, for social and emotional, children can be shy or nervous around strangers, attached to mom and dad, they have favorite things and favorite people, they enjoy handing you a book and would want to hear you read a story, they mimic sounds or actions to get attention, they can assist with dressing by stretching out their arms and their legs, and once again, they enjoy playing games such as peekaboo and patty cake. For language communication skills at 12 months, they respond to simple spoken requests, use simple gestures like shaking head, waving no, shaking head no, or waving goodbye. They also make sounds with changes in tone, starting to sound more like speech. Says mama and dada, and also can exclaim, uh-oh, and they try to say words you say. For cognitive development of a 12-month-old, they like to explore things in different ways. They like shaking things, banging things, and throwing things. They find hidden things easily. They like to look at the right picture or things when it's named. They copy gestures made. They start to use things correctly. For example, drinks from a cup and brushes their hair. They enjoy banging 2 items together. They put things in a container and take things out of a container. Lets things go without help. Pokes with index pointer finger, and follows simple directions like pick up a toy. For physical movement, they get into the standing position without help, pulls up to stand while walking and holding onto furniture, also known as cruising, and they may take a few steps without holding onto anything, and they may stand alone. These are the developmental milestones from birth through age 12 months. If an infant does not reach these milestones, please contact your pediatrician or your local family doctor. As stated in the beginning of the presentation, all infants grow and develop at his or her own pace. As you get to know your baby, consider these milestones of development. If they're not meeting them, please do not hesitate to act and call your physician. And this concludes my presentation.